Hello guys, this is Shekhar. Actually, today it's a long time since I wrote my first lecture, so I'm sorry for that. From now onwards, I will try to upload lectures as early as possible. So today I'm gonna start with the physics class 12th syllabus, and the chapter which I'm thinking to cover in today's lecture is the electric charges and fields. So what I planned, uh, I will follow the standard NCERT textbook, and I will solve all the problems of the NCERT textbook. Okay, means like examples as well as the problems, and at the end of each chapter. But even if you want me to solve some additional problems or some textbook which you guys are following in your coursework, or like your schools are following, then you can ask me any questions from those textbook in the comment section, or you can give your suggestion that which book I need to follow, other than the NCERT textbook. Okay, so it's not like I can solve all the problems of the other books, but I will figure out some problems which I think that they're important from your competitive exams point of view, or from your exam point of view. Then I will be happy to solve those problems. Okay, so let's get start with the chapter first of NCRT, which is this electric charges and fields. So, what are electric charges and what are electric fields? So, the credits for electric charges, or credit for the discovery of electric charges, this goes for Greeks, because they were very well aware about like when you rub an ember is a type of wood with a cat's fur, with a cat's fur, then ember acquires the property to attract small pieces of paper. But before rubbing the ember with cat's fur, the ember was not having the property to attract the pieces of paper. But after rubbing, it acquires the property. So this they saw in many substances, and like they thought that like it need to be studied properly. So what they said, when you rub amber with cat's fur, then amber acquires some kind of property to so that property makes amber to attract small pieces of paper. So what that property was, that property was called electric charges. Electric charges. And what was seen, that they did proper experiments, like they first rub amber with cat's fur, and then they rub amber with some other things. Then what they saw, that the let's say uh, let me be more clear. Let's say you they were rubbing this amber with some A substance, and then they rub amber with some B substance. And what they saw, that the property which amber acquires, that was different. Like now, both amber, the which was rubbed with A, and the amber which was rubbed with B, these both were attracting each other. They both were attracting each other. While if you rub a different pieces of amber with the same substance like cat's fur, then they were repelling each other. So, uh, with the help of these two conclusions, they pointed out that there are two kind of charges. There are two kinds of charges. kinds of charges. So at that time, they said when you rub an ember, with cat's fur, then embers acquires a one type of charge, and cat's fur acquires another type of charge. And by doing proper experimentation, like the by rubbing ember with same piece of substance and by rubbing ember with some different pieces of substance, like here, then they pointed out an important law, like like charges, like charges repel each other, repel each other. And how you can see this, like if you rub an ember, let's say you have different pieces of ember 1 and ember 2, and you are rubbing the pieces of ember with cat's fur, okay. So now you first rub an ember with cat's fur, separate out ember 1. Now you rub this ember 2 with another piece of cat's fur, then you separate out with the ember 2. And if you will bring ember 1 near to ember 2, then what will happen? They will repel each other. They will repel each other. So from here you can conclude that the like charges repel each other, because both of these will acquire the same type of charge. So that's why you can say that the like charges repel each other. And you can by the same experimentation you can also deduce that unlike charges attract each other. So this was the first observation, that like charges repel each other and unlike charges attract each other. So now you characterize charges by just two things. Like now you say that there are two type of charges. There are two type of charges. The first one you call them positive charges, and the other one you call them the negative charges. It is basically just a nomenclature, and it is uh, very much useful nomenclature. You will see after that like why this nomenclature is helpful. So there are two type of charges, positive charges and negative charges. So you have, because charge is a quantity in physics and you know that every quantity must have a unit. So what is the SI unit of electric charge? The SI unit of electric charge is SI unit of charge is coulomb. Coulomb. SI unit of charge is coulomb. This is the um, SI unit of charge. Like so, you can most of the time you will use this unit. Um, there are other units also, like electromagnetic unit EMU. You call EMU. Okay, it's a much bigger unit. Um, okay, and smaller units is the electrostatic unit ESU. So these are two smaller units, EMU and ESU. Coulomb is very much bigger unit, but while this ESU is smaller than Coulomb, but EMU is larger than Coulomb. I don't remember exactly what are these values are, but you can see from this NCRT book. Okay, so now you have understood that what are the two charges. Charges are the properties like which makes a body to attract small pieces of things. Okay, so and how bodies acquire charge? By rubbing one body against each other, uh, bodies acquire charges. So these are the things. Now before I go further, you guys must be having some doubt in mind that I said when you rub about two bodies against each other, bodies acquire charge. It means if you are rubbing a body A against body B, then they are getting charged. Okay, but what happens if we don't rub a body? Uh, so it means if you don't rub a body, the body does not have any charge. What does it mean? It means it is having equal amount of positive and negative charge. This is the meaning of the statement, that if a body is electrically neutral, body does not have any charge, it means the body is electrically neutral. Body is electrically body is electrically neutral. Body is electrically neutral. Then what does it mean? It means the amount of charge which the body contains is equal to the amount of negative charge which the body has. Okay? So whatever body you take, whatever body you take in nature, so in most of the situations, the amount of positive charge which the body contains is equal to the amount of negative charge. That's why the body is electrically neutral. It's a tendency of any body to remain in electrically neutral state, because electrically charged states are not very much energetically favorable. So it's a tendency of any body to remain in electrically neutral state. So this is the thing. Now it means you have a body and you have not rubbed the body with any other thing. So it means the positive charge is equals to the negative charge. But when you rub this body against any other thing, then what happens? This negative charge shifts from this body, let's call this A, and we are rubbing this body A with B. This negative charge, the exchange of negative charge between these two bodies happens. And can you tell me why only the exchange of negative charge between those bodies? Because positive charge, you cannot extract out positive charge from anybody, because positive charge is the charge which remains inside the nucleus. So in any physical process like rubbing one body against any other body, beating a body with a hammer, this kind of physical process with you cannot uh, extract the positive charge from the nucleus. You require huge amount of energy if you want to knock out protons from any nucleus, and it happens in radioactive elements. Okay, but we won't go in that direction. So these are the electrons. The exchange of them happens when you rub two bodies against each other. So you are rubbing body A against body B. So what I said, the electrons shifts from body A to body B, or from body B to body A. So it can happen in both case, like either electrons can go from A to B or from B to A. Okay, but does it happen in all of the bodies? No, it doesn't happen in all of the bodies. So let's classify bodies on the basis of their abilities to exchange charges when you rub two bodies against each other. So on the basis of that, bodies are classified in two types. One is called as the conductors, and another is called as the insulator. One is called as conductor, another is called as the insulator. So what are conductors? Conductors are the bodies which have free electrons, and because of which the exchange of electrons can happen when you rub two conductors against each other. Okay, so conductors, these are the bodies which have free electrons. It means they have free electrons. It means the electrons are not tightly bound with the atoms. They can roam in the conductor freely. Like if you have this conductor, and these are the positive charges which are tightly bound to the nucleus, and these are the electrons. These electrons can roam freely inside this conductor. They are not that much tightly bound with this nucleus. Okay, so This is the property, and you rub two conductors against each other, then these electrons can flow from one body to another body. And what are the example of conductors? They are, I'm sorry, what are the example of conductors? They are metals, they are salt solutions, some solid conductors also like graphene, which is a non-metal but which is a good conductor. So these are the example of conductors. On the contrary of conductors, there are some substances. Let's change the color for some better view. Some substances are insulators. What are insulators? They don't have free electrons in them. They don't have free electrons in them. It means if we rub two conductors against each other, if we rub two conductors against each other, the transfer of electric charge doesn't take place. Transfer of electric charge doesn't take place. So it means if you have a insulator and if you are rubbing two insulators against each other, then they won't get any electric charge. So why? Because electrons cannot flow or electrons cannot transfer from one insulator to another insulator. That is why. So you must have got like what type of substances will get an electric charge when you rub against each other. They are the conductors only. Now we have what the things we have read, that we have read the what are the charges are, what are the types of charges, what is the unit of charge, how bodies acquire the charges, what are the type of bodies, and now we see how we can charge a body, how we can charge a body, how we can charge a body. There is a process which is called as induction. What is the induction? Let's say you have a body which is a positively charged, and you have a body which is electrically neutral. It means the positive charge which it is has is equals to the negative charge. Okay. Um, Now what you do? You just bring this body nearby to this body. It means you are bringing this to nearby to this. So what will happen? Because it is a positive charge, and we know that unlike charges attract each other. So the negative charge, which is present in this body, will be attracted to this rod. Okay. It means like positive charge. So negative charge will be attracted to this rod, while the positive charge will remain at its original place, but negative charge will be attracted. Now, what you can do? I'm sorry. Actually, you need to take the negative charge body. Okay. I'm sorry. You need to take the negative charge body. Okay. Let's say you take a body which is having negative charge. Then what will happen? That this positive, this since you are bringing negative charge nearby to this, so what will happen? The negative charge which is present on this body will be repelled, and it will go as far as possible. So it will go to the other side of this body. Now what you can do, you can just transfer this charge, this negative charge, which is which is like present at one corner to another body, and we have a body in our storage. Like it doesn't matter you can it doesn't matter how much charge you give to that body. It has the capacity to hold enormous amount of charge, or I should say infinite amount of charge. And what that body is earth. That body is earth. So no matter how much charge you give to the earth, it always remains electrically neutral because it is huge. So what will happen, that you can transfer this charge to earth. So this is the symbol, and it is called as earthing. So you can transfer this charge to the earth. So what will happen, the negative charge which was present at one corner because of the repulsion from this body, this whole negative charge will transfer to the earth. So it means this body has deficient amount of negative charge. So what is the charge which is present on this body now? Now this body is positively charged. So it means with the help of induction, this process is called as the induction process. With the help of induction, we have made a body electrically charged. So I hope you must have understood what is the process of induction. So um, let's summarize all the things. Um, we understood what our charges are, how the discovery of charge happens, what are the type of charges, what is a SI unit of charge, um, and what is the reason behind any body to get electrified, and what are the different types of bodies on the basis of their property to transfer charge. They are conductors and they are insulators. What are conductors? Conductors are those which are having freely bound electrons. It means that in conductors electrons can flow from one body to another. What are insulators? They are the bodies which are which don't have free electrons and which do not get electrified when you rub two insulators against each other. And now the last thing we understood is basically how can we charge, how can we make a body to acquire a charge. So that process, the induction process. So let's finish this lecture here, and you guys read NCRT book, and if you are not getting any concept, please let me know. I will be happy to solve that thing. So in the next part of the lecture, we will try to cover the properties of charge. We will try to cover the properties of charge, and we will start the why is it happening? So in the next part, what we will cover the properties of charge, properties of charge. Another thing which we will cover is what are the electric fields. Okay, and we will drive different, oh no, sorry, before that, different expressions we need to cover um, the Coulomb's law. So these are the three things which I will cover in the next part of the chapter. So stay tuned with me, guys, and please feel free to give any suggestions, like if I'm going too fast or if I'm going too slow, or if anything I need to change, then please let me know. Okay, bye.